Hey, I'm Cole.
I'm Kenyon.
I'm Kwame.
And I review bad self-help.
And we put it into our daily lives so you don't have to. So what do you got for us this week, Cole?
Okay, this week, it's not a book that we're going to talk about. It's these like self-help weekends they had in the 80s for men.
Self-help weekends. What does that mean?
It's like they called them the Wildman Weekends.
Sounds like an.
Just sounds like gay sex.
Yeah, sounds like an orgy. Is what it sounds like.
No,
you can just say San Francisco. You can just say we're looking at a brochure
weekend.
for San Francisco this week.
And there was so in the 80s there was like this big culture of like, I don't know, feminism there was like a big backlash to feminism that had just started.
Mm-hmm.
And so these men decided that
they'd fuck each other.
To be fair, that's like the most anti-feminist thing you can do.
What way to fight than have sex with it?
Yeah. Also, for having sex with a man, pretty manly thing to. I mean, if you were just really
there's a quote that I'll get to later from one of these organizers, but he says like literally there's such a thing that exists called male milk. So
male what?
Milk.
Like milk from a man? That's just semen.
But
I really would like I kind of want to meet the guy that really got an because it's really just because we fucking hate women, man. And you're like jerking each other off, and you're like, yeah, how are they gonna not shave their armpits? And he's like sucking it.
You just organizing.
That's actually kind of a genius
hang
plan.
out with
like,
your
it's
friends.
Just one gay guy who's trying to have sex with all his straight friends. He's like, we go out together, we get drunk, we do what men do, all right, cuddle and hold each other in a way that we never wanted to.
No, yeah, sure. I hate women. You can get on your knees and show me how much you hate women too.
Yeah, but these weekends they were billed as like just a weekend of living outdoors with men to get in touch with their deep masculinity.
Yeah, this also just sounds so homoerotic. It's ridiculous. I mean, the fact deep masculinity that literally sounds like the name of a gay porn star is deep masculinity. Like, what else could you call anal sex?
What are they called? What are the retreats called?
The Wildman Weekends.
Wildman Weekends.
You ever have masculinity so deep in you can't sit right for 2 days after?
They were called that because the organizers claim that there was a elemental wild man living deep inside every regular guy.
You just gotta dig it out with a penis.
It is. There's like with all these.
I don't know if we're ever
things,
gonna get. I don't think we're ever gonna get to the advice. We're just every single layer of this is going to sound more and more gay. Also, I don't really get a lot of like that's like the Proud Boys and it was like all men drinking. Like I like hanging out with old guys as much as the next guy, but you know how boring it is.
But you don't have to call it something too.
Yeah,
like,
it's just friends
if I
hanging
went
out
for in the woods with all men for a weekend, like okay,
that's camping.
After like 40 minutes of bitching about how whatever like ladies show on NBC sucks. What are you gonna do? Like all the activities are done at that point. You play one game of football and you're like, I think I'm just gonna go.
But it's also interesting with all these self-help books how they always talk like we did The Way of the Wizard and there was a wizard inside you, and then this one there's like a wild man inside. Like there's always the like common like
something's in there that
there's some like
boring
inner
people.
persona.
No, because it's kind of it's a refreshing idea that there's like actual good and ambition within you, contrary to the truth that probably not, right? Like there's probably like nothing there. Like you can look in the safe and be like, there's really not shit going on, like people are like, no, you got an idea. Everyone, like even poets say that like everyone has a poem sitting inside them. No,
yeah,
some people just they got a job at McDonald's sitting inside them, they got holding down their fucking air conditioner repair man job for the next 3 years inside.
Hey, shit on air conditioning repair, guys. These guys are doing good work.
Okay, why is that a nerve?
Doing good work, making good money.
I think Kwame's dad's just fucking fixing an air conditioner in Florida. He's super. He's like, hey, don't you?
He was shitting on like McDonald's workers, then it gets to like air conditioner.
It's not a jump. This guy's doing good work.
What are we doing right now? Are you work for the union? This is fucking insane. I don't care. Yeah.
Those are some good guys. Inside of all of us, there's actually an air conditioner repairman.
Kwame's about to pitch the air conditioner unit in you. Honestly, I was full, the heat of rage and insecurity, and that just turned on my inner air conditioner. Now I live in a comfortable, cool atmosphere of acceptance within.
Oh man.
Did you like apply for an air conditioner job and don't want this like to get out? Don't want him to hear this?
I think just because he like tried and failed, like he was just trying to
do some good stuff?
I'll never be an air conditioner repairman.
We didn't strike for 14 days, so you guys to come on the podcast and shit on the air conditioner repair union.
This wild man that the organizers talk about, they say he gets freed during these weekends, and they're freed by activities like drumming and dancing around bonfires. And this wild man's been suppressed.
Kind of very womanly things to do.
Yeah, we the way that we get our inner man is braiding each other's hair and telling stories, massages, really just loosen
Dave
up those
tells us
notches.
about what this bitch at work was on about.
Dave, I can't really imagine a bunch of guys like hairy chests being like, just nice to be met, right? And then they're like just starts, waltzing around a fire together.
No, it gets worse. But they claim the wild man has been suppressed by industrialization,
Damn right.
the corporate culture, and 20 years of feminism.
Because I mean, essentially, like, what? The most base man instinct is like, I just want to come all the time, right? I mean, if we boil down what it is. So I was like, is feminism in the corporate culture just the fact that you can't just run around ideally in a man paradise and just have your dick and just masturbate at will? Essentially, if you really want to know, like, what's the ultimate man paradise, kind of just go to any Puerto Rican neighborhood and just watch men cack out women for 40.
Jesus.
That's basically just that's standard. Like, that's a man being a man.
Yeah,
Okay, if you want to know.
You're saying industrialization and the corporate culture hasn't hit those areas yet?
Did I tell you the story where
I'm just saying, like I'm half Hispanic and Latino culture, they don't care.
I saw a woman arguing with this guy about I was at the bus stop like a week ago, and I get off the bus, and this woman and this guy at the bus stop, this older Puerto Rican guy, maybe like in his 50s, and like a younger like white woman in her 20s, and she's going off on him. She's like, I told you I didn't want to talk to you, yada yada yada. And then another woman with pink hair jumps into the argument against the guy, and I guess the story is that he went up to the girl and he was like, hey, my phone's broken, could you like show me how to fix it? And then he handed it to her, and then he was like, hey, why don't you fix it by putting your number in there? and then she was just pissed. They were going off, and he was like, look, I just thought it was a little funny thing. She's like, you're attacking me. And it was like a whole thing, and then she yelled at this guy.
That's kind of funny though,
45
because I mean, at any moment he could just pull the like, you're marginalizing me, right? And then the white
You never
girl
did that.
asks
You
him,
never pulled that card.
No, because he's a man, right? Because that's what men do.
But it was it was weird.
So the corporate culture, we have the inner wild, which again, I don't think that's a good thing. I don't know if you should. I mean, I think
inner
you should
wild man.
I think like the coolest thing about being a man is you don't have to like care that much about how you look, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, but so the dude, they created this Wildman gathering, and they described it as a gathering so males could come together in wilderness apart from women to get in tune with their bodies and their feelings.
Right. This is just such an obvious fucking thing.
To get in
Like,
tune
why
with
would
their
you
bodies.
actually be like, hey, I'd love to stay and hang out, babe, but I have a 48-hour sausage fest that I need to go to. where
They
we
also
get in
cost like $600 to do.
Yeah, it's an orgy.
Oh, is that the going price for orgy?
How else are you gonna pay for condoms and
This is just Burning Man for people
hepatitis
that,
vaccines?
Yeah.
It's like Burning Man for stepdads, basically. It's just the ultimate.
How many guys would go?
I don't know how much each gathering, but in total, like around 50,000 men have done these gatherings.
They still go on right now?
There's a different form of them that go on right now. That's kind of gotten.
So the
And imagine your dad like
Imagine
dragging
it's just
Imagine
the
your
White
dad like
House.
dragging you to this when you're like 13 years old. Just a
He's
bunch
just single tear in his eyes, like the wild man's deeper than a son. You're like, I think you should just apologize to mom. You know, I think you should just.
apologize.
Yeah. I can imagine that playing it. How many child custody cases have just been closed with like? And then also we have a clip of this retreat that you went to, where he's sitting there batting his chest, going, come out, wild man, show yourself." Like,
Daddy, not the wild man again.
The wild.
Giving full custody to the kid.
It says here
And
in
there's
2013
multiple accounts of domestic violence. You're like, yeah, because feminism's trying to suppress who I really
It
am.
says in 2013 you brought your son to a sex cult at a campground.
Yeah, but the people.
There's literally no way. No, like, there has to at least be 50% blowjobs going on.
It's
Like,
sex.
even-
That's the only reason you go there is sex.
there's saunas there.
They're what?
There's saunas there. But that's an activity that happens. Yeah, they strip and go into a sauna. We'll get into that later.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Just halves?
How is this applicable to us? I feel like, what are you telling us to do? I'm getting a little nervous in my chair on what the prescription for us is.
They're saying that the people who they were mostly white middle American men, aged 30 to 40s, and most of them were computer programmers or professors or something like that.
Aren't you a computer programmer?
Yeah.
So basically be you.
Yeah, basically.
Well, because these guys really aren't like, like a construction worker is out with his hands. He's not like insecure about it, whether he's a real man, but like some like beta male that, sits behind a computer all day. He needs to, he would pay a bunch of money to like smack his chest, be like, I'm a fucking real man, right? I mean, that's just because, it's like such a total scam.
Do you think like a job has an effect on like your masculinity?
I don't think it takes. I think if you're secure in it, it doesn't take away from. Like if you're secure in your masculinity, you work and you're like a computer programmer.
What if you're a ballerina?
But if you, what'd you say?
What if you were you're a professional ballet dancer?
If you're secure in it, I don't think it takes it away. I think if you're at a neutral point and you work something like a construction worker, it probably helps a little bit. Like I see construction workers and I'm like, there's like some real men doing some work kind of stuff. You don't see that?
I don't like all these nuanced opinions. First off, you're dependent on the air conditioner, man. You're like, I think if you're secure. Listen, Kwame, I want to tell you, if you had to put on a tight pair of pants every time you went to work and flock around, I think you'd be like, I'm not a goddamn man.
That's hey.
For Kwame, every
ballerinas can't be men.
Every time you look in the mirror now, you have the thought, I'm not a man. Okay? I mean, that's just standard, right? So imagine just you doing something equally emasculating. I mean, for you, that's just checking your bank account, right? That's just okay. Your opinion.
You don't think a ballerina can be not a man? Why not?
No, it could be. I'm just saying that's what the first thing comes to my head of like a.
I think a dude who's a ballerina probably has more wild man in them than like the guy signing up.
That they have sex with a lot of men. Yeah, that's right.
I can't really imagine. This seems like the saddest event I could even imagine, which is like 50 nerds covered in mud being like, feminism's kept us under, now we're gonna release the wild man. It's like, listen,
they even got like cards afterwards that said like official wild man, and and on the cards they would have their like animal names. Like they were referencing this one guy, his name was Harley Smith, but on his card it says Harley Mountain Goat Smith.
That's not even a cool animal. That's like a bitch animal.
That's not even a cool
animal. And I went out and I became Charlie Sick Chicken Feral. And you're like, what? It's not even a manly fucking thing. A mountain goat? It's an insult.
Oh, shit.
They eat cans.
You're speaking to Dave the Gopher Bear. Who the hell are you? Oh, man.
Yeah.
And is the founder still alive?
I don't know. I don't think there was like one founder. I think it was like a
no, he's dead.
Like an organizer
Andy
type
Warhol
thing.
died in the 70s, right? So I assume that he's not.
Yeah, but it seemed like a lot of the men who did this had like father issues. Like that was the biggest.
No, that's like 100%.
That was the biggest thing.
The whole lot of anyone who's like really obsessed with being big or being a man, I think, is trying to prove.
Yeah, like there's this one dude. I'll just read you an account of like one of the dudes, like why he said he did it, and he was telling this guy's name is Lee, and he said that his father was a tough son of a bitch, who would think what we were doing like every weekend was just crock, and he said his dad had been an angry alcoholic who was emotionally and physically absent. He never taught his son how to have close male friends, and he never showed him that it was all right to express his feelings.
So this is kind of the opposite of what we think it is. Because you're like, it's just a bunch of douchebags get in the woods being men. But this kind of sounds like they get together and like write poetry, and you're like, at least you're a wild man, you're crying, and you're like...
And Lee said like his father never taught him how to cry. And...
Again, this is really misleading. It went from gay orgy to like you went from like some alt-right group meeting to like, these men, they just get together and they finally hug each other and admit their love for one another.
How do you have to get taught how to make close male friends?
Yeah, taught how to cry. I don't
get that either. I wasn't like, there was never a 101 I had to take. It wasn't like my girlfriend was like, listen, let me show you the ropes on how, when I'm done with you, this is how you're going to do it.
Or if you like get hurt out on the field, your dad comes out and like, hey, cry, son.
That'd be funny. Like, you don't cry like that. Don't you? You cry like a goddamn man. You cry for 2 reasons: the Bears win, and that's it.
The Bears win.
After that, one of the activities they would do was they told the men to like close their eyes and imagine their fathers standing 100 yards behind them outside the circle of men they made. The organizer was like, they're mad at us. They're scared we're leaving them out. He said he was going to try something. He told us to take slow, deep breaths. Then, as if intoning a mantra, he said, Dad. He repeated it, Dad. Then he said, Father. He paused. Father. Daddy.
Is this the beginning? Stop reading this fucking Eyes Wide Shut party description. It's fucking. He said,
it sounds like a kid in court, like recounting being molested. Told me to close my eyes.
You know, this really goes to show you, like, before you go out and buy that pack of cigarettes, realize that, deadbeat dads are responsible for like 98% of the most garbage men on the earth.
This is what you're doing to somebody.
Okay. Every overly annoying.
You don't think that's
person.
powerful? A circle of men just going,
No,
Daddy? No, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking
Father,
life.
Daddy.
I'm also tired of all the power we give dads. Dads are just like an older roommate that fucks your mom. I don't really think.
But isn't it weird how like a woman's daddy is just like, hey, I'm a stripper. Man's daddy is just like, yeah, I went in the woods and chatted daddy for 45 minutes.
Because we get down to the basics. A dad's really just someone who is so stupid they fucked your mom. They're really not.
Yeah, but after this little thing, he said men began to break down. At first with eyes closed. I didn't recognize the sound. How often?
What would be really funny though if their actual dad showed up and just started berating them. Like if they're just sitting there like, Daddy, Dad, and a bunch of them are like, what the hell are these queers doing out in the wood? Fuck's sake. My son's not just gay, he's one of them super gays. like all the sound of 1,000 PBR cans being thrown at foreheads would just be deafening.
He said, I didn't recognize the sound. How often had I heard men weep? Almost never. It began like a strangled cry, as if the men were gargling. Then their anguish burst forth in heaving sobs that rolled through the grove. Beside me, Jim cried freely. A couple of places to my right, a man gasped, "Hug me!" And then he was embraced by the man next to him. I was surprised and somewhat confused. What depths of sorrow did these men feel? What scars could they have been carrying associated with their fathers?
Wait, so Cole, okay, so these guys are screaming daddy, daddy, daddy and crying in a field. Essentially, here's the thing. If men did, I'm very pro this. If they did this every weekend, there would only be like 5 actors left that have any actual talent. You know what I mean? Like all of the art world would just be cleaned out instantly within there would be no ridiculous people out there. Everyone would just it'd be done. Like you could save people 10 years of trying to being invited to your one-man show if you just cried in a field and said daddy once.
Yeah, they had like more activities around father. Like it seems like this whole weekend is like some like
I thought it was just guys hanging out.
Yeah, you sounded really cool and being like, yeah, we get together, we just have straight up beer and like punch each other. It's like these are just guys crying and saying "daddy" over again. And I'm like,
they probably need that stuff, right?
I don't know if they need it,
but it seems like that's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like that's like something.
But there's also
to be fair, it is. I think I've heard this recently. It is the 100% cure for man buns.
You like a man bun?
No. A man bun is almost the symbol of the dad leaving him right there. It's like his dad permanently behind him and forever
umbilical
walking
cord
to
the dad.
So, Cole, what do you want us to do with this?
Oh no, there's more stuff. Like there's other activities.
What other activities?
You don't want to do the daddy circle activity?
Let's just keep going with.
Okay, so something else they did is they were asked to draw a circle. Get inside it and invite your father in and tell him what you've always wanted to, the fear and the anger.
Do this in front of people?
Yeah, so people
a lot of dad
so
shit.
People left the circle and they would head like all out into the woods This
stripping
journalist
is more dignified. At least at least you're turning your issues into something good. You know,
that's what I'm saying. At least like a woman's daddy is just like, all right, this is like making some money.
About, I don't want her to be some stripper. It's like she makes like fucking $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
She's hot. Like
$50,000. That's low.
Yeah, this is
more than $50,000.
Sons of fat losers crying in a circle.
All right.
Christ's sake.
Yeah. So he's describing these men in these circles, and he says, like, I walked 100 yards and sat down in front of a half circle of pine trees. Behind me, I heard a man's tormented voice shouting at an imaginary father, I hate your violence. Another man below me near the pond whacked the trunk of a tree over and over with a branch.
Wait, isn't he supposed to be saying so? Why is he just hitting a tree?
Is this father?
That's a little. What the fuck? What do they do to them? What is this like traumatized? Jesus.
I really think you might be overreacting just because your dad's like, no son of mine's joining theater, and then they're like punching a tree like, fuck you,
Jesus.
Dad.
Do you think this is an appropriate way to handle father issues?
Your dad? I'm a big old... What's wrong with drinking? Like, when did that stop being the percent? I think that was a pretty good medication.
I agree with him, yeah. Just, like, drink and go. Press that shit down. Be a man and push that shit down.
That's what being a
chest.
man's all about. Because one day you're going to have a kid, and then, boom, your turn. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you don't agree with these like activities that they have them do?
I mean, I could maybe if... Well, because then you said it gets in like all kind of like anti-feminism stuff, which is like weird. But if it was,
well, this is like the most. Listen, you go up to any kind of. This seems like the most beta male kind. If I told a girl, what do you do last week? I went and I sat in a circle and I screamed "Daddy" over and over again and cried. Holy shit! Like she would hand me all of her tampons. She would be like, "You need this more than I do forever."
Like her whole body would dry up and she'd die and turn into
her
dust.
clit is automatically bigger dick than everyone in that room if she showed up to that.
Maybe you're being, maybe you're pushing.
Listen, everybody's got fucking weird shit with my dad. I don't know.
This is men trying to conquer.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if everyone had weird issues with specifically my father?
The kid's dad beat the shit out of me when I was like 8 years old. I don't know why.
Also, like once you go to these, like they had more men like do them, so these men must have like gone out and like told their friends, and their friends were like, "Yeah, that sounds what I need." Like, well,
this could be. I can actually see how some of this stuff would be helpful for people who need it.
Really?
I mean, if they need that kind of shit,
it seems like overly.
No, because I'm not a fucking.
It seems
pussy.
like
it
seems like it's one of those like performative things, like when you're in church and people around you are like feeling the spirit and like moving, and you're like, I don't really feel anything. Like that
metaphor. When you're around people and you're feeling your dad.
Just
feeling dad.
No, call out to your dad now.
No, but like people around you are like cursing their dads or whatever, and you're like, I might not
again. This is really
have
the most honest description of an open mic that I've ever seen in my life, which is each man in his own way screaming, "Fuck you, Dad," at the top of his lungs for an hour and a half.
Yeah, but if like men around you are like crying and stuff, and you're like, why am I not feeling anything? It might pressure you to like.
I mean, here's the thing: you don't need to go to the woods. You just watch Nanette, right? And then like the tears will
watch
flow.
What?
Nanette.
Hey,
and the tears will flow from your eyes.
We love Nanette.
Oh boy.
Me and Kwame, right?
All right. Well, now we're getting into some territory here on the podcast.
Nanette's a good special. Better than Jim Jeffries.
I am not going to stand by what Cole is saying.
No.
And that's my final thoughts.
I mean, the thing is,
Kwame told me Nanette had the jokes.
Sure, my dad's a deadbeat, but I know him. But Cole, you don't know your dad, or you met him like twice, right?
Yeah, I met him twice.
So I mean,
would you do something like this?
Would I call out Daddy? No.
Why not?
Do you think if you had a dad, you think if you had a dad in your life, you would actually have an honest opinion about Nanette?
you think
you would have an actual honest opinion instead of.
You think that's why I like Nanette and David Cross?
You need to purge whatever the hell is inside you. You need it.
There's definitely something wrong. Yeah.
Come back from the treat.
I think that you need a dad in your life that teaches you what's funny and what's not. You definitely have a real mom sense of humor going on. real mommy's boy comedian.
Thanks.
So. No, but this could help you. I could see why.
No, I think it's just a performative thing that people
feel
like it's helping in the moment.
Wait, but we don't need to debate.
Because I've been in church and seen people like catch the Holy Ghost or whatever.
Yeah.
And they like they move and shake.
You've seen that?
Yeah, that happens in black churches. It happens like all the time. Like black women, they catch it's catching the Holy Ghost. Where it gets in you, and then they and you like say a little, but you start speaking. My grandma speaks in tongues and shit.
I think you're confused. It's sickle cell. That's
it's sickle cell.
the name of what you're talking about.
Similar symptoms.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, you don't think that helps people?
Well,
you're saying that helps them for like 5 minutes.
I think that helps even less than the daddy thing.
Why don't you just test the hypothesis?
But I'm saying
right?
that
the
general
podcast
thing.
is about taking advice and doing it.
I mean,
Everybody
you
here.
want to do this? I mean, me and you can go outside.
I think
and
Cole should do it.
We could draw
we're all
a circle.
gonna do it and film it.
We can draw a circle.
I think we should all do it and film it and release it as part of the cast.
podcast.
I can't do that.
Why not?
You guys, we can go somewhere and draw a circle, and we can all sit there and scream "Daddy." If that is something that you guys want to do, I will go ahead and do that. No, please, you want to suggest that we could do that.
I do because I do want you to quit comedy, and I think that would whatever happens, I think that would finally do it.
We should do that on stage. Just all
That's
get
what I
up and hold hands and yell.
Wait a minute. We can go do it as no stage, no shade theater. Like a performance art mic.
Yeah.
Could totally
What
just
did I,
go up and scream,
what did
Dad. I don't think I have it in me. I don't think I could do that in front of people. Just because it's too.
They
Wow,
would
this
probably
crowd's
love
a
it
little dead. Huh? Guys,
I would break away and go to bits. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, go to bits as if you're gonna start killing halfway through with your dad.
The whole thing wasn't about dad, so.
What else was it about?
I mean,
let's get back to. I mean, because it started off
with
like
the wild
intention,
man,
like hating women. Sure, we can get behind that. But then we get into like this weird dad stuff, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
What happened?
I think it starts with the dad stuff because I guess a lot of them had dad issues, but then they'd start talking about the wild man, and getting in touch with him, and more. There's also like another person they describe called the savage man, and they say the savage man represents the macho, aggressive side of masculinity, which is what women and others may fear.
Also,
is
like,
what the
I like a dude in glasses with no muscles being it's what women and other people fear. It's like, no one's scared of you, pal. Right? The only thing that they fear is your acne in an evening alone with you. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. What do you mean? Yeah. It's what they fear.
They fear
like a serial killer. Yeah. Most people do.
Yeah.
Most people do fear.
Honestly, anyone would fear anyone named the Savage Man. Right?
I just find most men rights guys that are talking about like women fear. It's like no one fears you, dude.
Yeah.
No
one's scared of you.
But he says the fear is erroneous because there's a difference between the savage man and the wild man, and to find this difference, they acted them out in improvisational dances at the
Again, real not manly stuff for the man convention here.
Yeah,
I think I've seen this in multiple improv theaters. The Savage Man.
So to do this like improvisational dances, they all these men started to go to a grove, and the guy in charge told them to start out doing the king walk, which is striding with your chest puffed out, expressing pride without arrogance. And so they started doing that. This is actually something you do in improv class. They tell you to walk around like different things.
Why do you take this?
It's fun.
It seems like you got your own wild man thing. It's just you go instead of dad, you just go zip, stop, zoo, zip, stop, zoo, come back. I'm never saying no again.
You are a savage man, huh?
Yeah. So they get.
I mean, it takes a lot of savagery to just bore in a paying audience for an hour and a half. I mean, that's a pretty bold, manly move to do there.
So they get to the pasture, and this is how they figure out the difference between the savage man and the wild man. And so they ask the men to just do a savage man dance, and they don't tell them like what it is. And so they said, at first most men stood looking embarrassed, a perfectly normal reaction to being told to express yourself spontaneously. And when Alan suggested you might want to growl to express the savagery within you, more than 100 men suddenly began running through the field, snarling like rabid dogs. Most were enthusiastic savages. My own snarling left me hoarse the rest of the day.
Can you imagine a guy just in the break room being like, "So what'd you do this weekend, Ted?" And he just stares off in the distance as he tries to explode. Like, what's the best way I can tell someone I screamed "Dad" and then snarled like a dog running through the woods. And he's like, "Anyway, I think it makes me a lot more focused on these reports I need to get out. Got my inner wild man out."
Yeah. No, but that's the sad.
He's just like, just stayed in.
Just
Just stayed in.
So then,
like flashbacks of him beating a tree. He's like, it's that's good. Just to watch some Netflix.
I know with some friends or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't a big thing.
yeah.
How many girlfriends? How many relationships were destroyed on they found out?
This? I don't know.
Yeah, does it give any demographics about are these guys single or dating or what's?
They gotta be single.
They're probably mostly divorced.
Mostly
I see. Divorced men are probably the worst group of people out there in the world.
You think so?
Yeah,
that's most
bitter.
Men.
The most men you think?
Yeah, it's like 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah, but
so half men are
men are
divorced.
Not half of men are. But you get into another marriage. But
you were divorced.
But you mean a divorced man who's single and divorced?
Yeah,
why do you
single
think?
and divorced.
Why do you think they're the worst men?
They just are. They're bitter. They're susceptible to all sorts of outside.
That's actually
knowledge.
Pretty right, to be honest. You got nothing going for you. You've been at the.
Listen. When you come back from war, I mean, right? most people,
the person who has the soul of a divorced man is considered. Tell me.
It's kind of like in Vietnam when you thought you were going there for a good cause, and you come back and you lost so much and so many things you dear, and you just get someone calling you baby killer in the airport. That's essentially a divorced man. Lost his house. To his high school sweetheart sitting there crying. Some guy's like, "Yeah, you just hate women. You're a piece of shit." And you're like, I was fighting for freedom. I was fighting for a noble fucking cause out there. I mean, here's the thing, Cole. I mean, statistically, you are going to be the guy. Statistically, at least fucking 1.5 of us is going to at one point be screaming at a house we used to own.
Yeah. So the Wildman dance. And they said one man skipped, another jumped from side to side across a little tractor rut. The journalist picked up heavy rocks and threw them into the next pasture.
Is this whole thing sponsored by Jack Link's beef jerky? What the fuck?
Yeah,
what are they eating here? I gotta imagine it's just sausages and semen. That's the only fucking.
But yeah, so they did that to make the differentiation between the wild man and the savage man that's inside them.
Yeah, I really think repressing your feelings and beating your kids might be kind of a better. We're looking at the alternatives here. If it's dancing in the wild man, I think men in the 50s are just build a fucking shed. Build a shed. Just channel all your feelings inside into a nuclear bomb. That's pretty much what men used to do.
Do you not feel improvisational dances are a good way to find your inner man?
Well, I know you paid $1,000 so someone could tell you that's what you're supposed to do, but
yeah, I don't know how the organizers even thought of
look at people with a straight face and tell them to do that.
Yeah, or just even thought of half this stuff.
It kind of takes a real man just to look another grown man in the face and saying, "I need you to dance around and scream, Dad." I mean the balls you'd have to have.
And how much? I imagine this guy who you said he's dead now, right?
I don't know, probably.
But I imagine this dude was filthy rich, right?
Maybe. These sessions did cost $600 a weekend.
That's fucking insane. And how many men would be at one? 25, 30?
Each one, probably 30.
That's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. All right. So they mentioned in the beginning how the Industrial Revolution or whatever prevented us from reaching our wild man, right?
What do you mean prevented us? What does that mean?
Well, they explain it. So before the Industrial Revolution, fathers and sons, they lived together, they farmed together. Fathers taught their sons a trade, and just being in each other's presence created an emotional exchange of masculine energy and satisfied a deeper longing for the son's body to be closer to the father's body.
Capitalism made my daddy go away. Such a ridiculous ideology. You're if there was no jobs, my dad wouldn't have left to get a better one. If only we were sitting in the fields all day. Yeah, in the medieval times, he was like, well, there's no point in leaving to go have sex with another wench.
When you were the only child of 8 that survived, I'm sure your dad was let me keep this one close.
Yeah, well, there's nowhere else to go. What's he going to do, jump on horseback to the next kingdom? I mean, it's this shitty feudal life is all we got. Dad's not really betting anything. He's like, well, we're all going to die soon. There's that. We can look forward to that.
Yeah. Do you feel like if you worked side by side with your father, you would be a better man than you are now?
No.
side by side on the field.
If I was working side by side, no, I don't think
pressed
so.
against your dad's body.
If he was working side by side with his father, maybe they would have solved half those conspiracies.
Oh yeah, your dad's a little interesting, right?
You say autistic?
No, he's an interesting man.
Oh.
A Renaissance man.
Yeah. In that he believes that he's currently in the Renaissance. He believes that it's 1482. So what were you saying?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that they say is missing now is that masculine energy that used to be between father and son. And so to try to get that back, there was another activity they would do where they would form 2 circles of men, one standing, one seated, and each man, they would rotate around the circle and repeat to the man in front of them things as a boy that he needed to hear from his father, but didn't. So as an example, they were like, "Welcome to the world, son. I'm so glad you came. I will always be there for you. Your mom and I love you, son. You're so special to me. I can't wait to teach you how to blah, blah, blah," that type of stuff. They would say to each other.
Cry if they're like, "This is the fucking loser my kid has become." I didn't say that. I wiped your ass. I wiped the shit out of your ass. Was that not enough? I put food on the table, did all that. No, Dad, I wanted you to read a haiku about what it means to be here. It's like, what the fuck? I worked 80 hours a week. Everyone's like, "Oh, my fucking dad didn't do enough." It's just you.
Yeah.
Imagine if you got someone pregnant, right? Like, dude, do you think you would be over reading your kid poems, like, so bad to have you just be the same? Because essentially it's like a little bro, right?
Yeah.
It's like, "Yeah, you want to, here's some food, you're out there. That's kind of a cool."
Yeah. But also, like, would you accept things you wanted to hear from your father? Would you accept them from just a random stranger you met yesterday?
No.
Like saying, like, "Oh, I love you, son." I couldn't. I don't know. That wouldn't. Even if I did have
I don't want to have
father,
a stranger just look at me and go, "Wait, what? Who are you?" Again?
Yeah. And so after that was finished, the organizer was like, "See there? You just got nurtured, and there's not a woman within 2 miles of this place."
Oh my God.
Christ's sake.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why does it all have to go back to like you? I like how the kid would be like, "You know what? I got over my dad issues. Everything's good." It's like, "Got over my dad issues." Shows you don't need those dumb bitches. You're
Jesus,
like,
yeah, keep just going back to like the woman.
Yeah, it's like, I think you're really going out of your way here to say you hate women.
And he
Yeah,
says
it's just a giant retreat to
he
circle
says,
back to like, I didn't get laid last week. So
men need to grieve, and they never do enough of it. He urges them, feed on male milk. There really is such a thing, you know.
See, I think there's a balance, right, between being like a crazy man from the 50s that like the only time he felt like he had like one last rant before his heart attack and died, and then Logan Square hipster who wears short shorts, you know? So
well,
it's
this is both. This is
there's a middle ground of a person that's like, not a complete psychopath and has some feelings, and then also,
well, that's
I can see his thighs.
Well, that's what like these like the alt-right guys and like the
honestly
far left guys have in common is that you
once
both just
wrong.
You got nothing going on until you attached onto something and now you got something.
Even if I made it this far through the weekend, all those activities, if someone then said, "Oh, you got to feed on male milk," that's the part where I'm out.
Close your eyes and imagine I'm your father, and open your mouth and take your father's energy.
Like male milk is just such a nasty phrase that it's like.
The male body in general is just like what a gross thing. It's just like it's just bad. Everyone talks about fat. I don't think don't shame men enough about how what that is.
Yeah,
it's just an unpleasant thing. It doesn't produce anything great. It's essentially a walking syringe.
Syringe?
Yeah, it's a semen, like a semen syringe. That's all a man is.
What an awful description of a syringe.
Yeah, just let me syringe. I don't know.
So okay. So what was I going to ask you?
I don't know.
Where were you at? What were you just saying about these guys?
Wait, is it male milk like from a cow, or this is milk that has been produced?
No, male milk. I think he means like metaphorically, like like mother's milk, like how you get like
do you sure on the metaphor, or is there some
I'm
literal
hoping
male milk going on?
It's a metaphor.
So I think we're all hoping it's a metaphor.
Yeah.
I think in my heart I know that it's not.
I was hoping it was a metaphor, but then he ends the sentence by saying, "There's such a thing that exists," you know?
Yeah.
Like that kind of ruins the metaphor aspect of it.
I don't think it's a metaphor anymore. It seems a little real.
So the that's what I was gonna ask. Where does the anti-feminism stuff come in?
The anti-feminism stuff?
Yeah, like why?
Yeah, why does it? Because this all sounds. This seems like real feminine.
They're anti-industrialist, right? For whatever reason.
Just a real misguided ideology.
The
factory stole my dad.
The factory.
It's like, what a garbage, just childish way to look at the world.
James Carter. My father went out to get a pack.
I think what it is because whenever a group of guys together are bitching about our girlfriend, like any men's retreat pretty much ends with like, but fuck women, right? Like
no.
Like you can't really have 4 guys together without the general consensus being like, those bitches are just ridiculous.
No,
like it's just
it all circles.
like
back
you can
to
just
that.
feel it in the air. Like 10 guys are hanging out. They're like, fucking Kelsey.
If it wasn't for Standard Oil, maybe my father would have told me he loved me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly where the women stuff comes from. I think it's just like a general like permeation of like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just I think any time more than 3 guys are together, women hating just starts.
Yeah. But it says usually, so that was like a day that described all those activities, and then the day ends with a couple hours in the sweat lodge. They say sweating is a wonderful communal ritual, the lowest common denominator human activity. Nobody has to worry about his performance in the sweat lodge. After the heat, the dark, the steam, and the herbs, the men inhale or rub on one another, combine to create a hypernormal state.
What did you say? You said they what? They rub on one another?
It says, no one has to worry about his performance in a sweat lodge. After the...
I mean, we're really just... Could they just say that it's just a giant orgy already?
After the heat, the dark, the steam, and the herbs, the men inhale or rub on one another, combine to create a hypernormal state.
That's right. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to touch on. You said rubbing herbs on one another?
Yeah, typically sage.
Rubbing sage on his body.
Can you imagine rubbing sage all over your friend's body and being like, but bitches be shopping, am I right? You know, like just like that's actually what you rolled out to as you're massaging your buddy's thigh and you're like, man, it's good just to men being men out here, you know? No women holding us down. Isn't this great?
Don't miss the balls there. But anyways, my girlfriend is such a fucking cunt.
Christ. Yeah, I don't think it's not that men shouldn't act like that. It's just better to act like that with women. It's just a better choice. If it's my sweaty buddy or a girl, I'd rather be rubbing things on one of them.
There's like another antidote from one of the guys talking about his father. This guy named Carl. He said he joined the Los Angeles police department because of his father issues. He said he could watch someone die and then eat a sandwich. Says Carl. It seemed normal somehow. So, what do you think Carl's father did?
That seems a little bit more like. Yeah, I mean, what could you really do?
He's a member of the LAPD. This guy.
Yeah. So sometimes
in the 80s, I would imagine that's not the most manly, just murdering black men every single day.
So sometimes Carl would use excessive force. Just because of the father stuff, he's confronted he said he confronted a suspect still inside the house and armed. He said it was just like televisions. They both went for their guns. Carl outdrew him and had his gun cocked, leveled, ready to fire. He had every right, legal or otherwise, to blow the man away, and Carl made him drop his gun instead. And he said he realized that by being a cop, he was just providing himself with a socially acceptable way of being his dad. Maybe that's why he didn't kill the burglar, because he knew his dad would.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Again, this goes back to like, if you're a dad, just take care of your kid. Because it's just the level of sociopaths.
Going through somebody's fucking
the level of fucking insanity that happens.
He's about to murder somebody's child. This is what's going through his head.
Can you imagine he's just like, this, fuck you, dad. And then somewhere in Las Vegas is just like, I should probably call Kyle. You know? Just one dude sitting there.
He's in court for the murder of a 15-year-old boy, and he's like, well, in my defense, Your Honor, my dad was never really there for me.
My dad would have done it too.
My
Judge.
dad would-
It's like, what are you holding as evidence there? This is a catcher's mitt that's never used in 18 years. All right, my dad, not even.
As you can
born.
see, there's no creases in the defendant's mitt.
Is that why police brutality exists? Just a bunch of cops with dad issues and.
That would make sense.
I think it's like most male issues are just daddy issues we can trace back to. You got incels, fucking alt-right, school shootings. A lot of it's like, stay with those fucking kids.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
They also touched upon the mothers too in these weekends.
Oh yeah, I mean it's some mom issues.
Yeah.
Also, here's if I want to get on like a male's rights, it's kind of annoying that so if a girl has daddy issues, it's either she's a stripper or that's hot. But if there's like a stereotype that like if a guy has mommy issues, then like they kill women or some shit. Whereas like I think it's the opposite, where they just become like a beta male that just does whatever women say because they don't have one, so they're like they're just hiring anyone off the street basically.
Yeah. So one of the things they did for their like mommy issue stuff, they said during a skit to help us recognize the power our mothers exert over us.
So this is improv, is what you're saying.
Why? Because it said skit.
This is an improv class.
So a man dressed in a skirt, they took him to this group of men, and he would say like motherly things.
You said he was wearing a wig and makeup as well.
The man in the so they would have this woman or not this man dressed as a woman who would go around to the men like and berate them for not coming home regularly for dinner and other like motherly admonishments. And so he said, my fellow Wildman went absolutely bonkers. Get the hell out of our grove, one yelled. Lady, you're making me crazy, cried another. No wonder he'll turn into a son of a bitch, screamed a third. Let's get her. We all shrieked happily and we grabbed our drums to beat the woman away. The actor, his eyes getting huge, realized we weren't kidding. He raced off, holding his skirt up so he wouldn't trip. As hard as we tried, we couldn't gain on him. But we had one last hope. As the man-woman dashed over a cattle guard into a far pasture, a few of us slowed down, grabbed stones from the ground, and started throwing them at him.
Fucking Christ.
I seized a rock and let it fly.
So they had someone in drag just reenact a hate crime? Yeah, we had a real fun weekend. I screamed my dad. We had a man in a skirt come and chased him and threw rocks at him, like I'd want to do ideally to the person who gave me birth,
We would have killed him. We would have killed him if we were a little bit faster.
Yeah, Christ. Oh man, the time you know what? Really, really feel refreshed. That's really just tell you that.
Did they hit him
with stones?
Yeah,
they tried to. I don't know if they.
And so, how is this helpful? How are you like, man? Then after I chucked rocks at a woman,
that's supposed to be your mother too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. I think you're at a point where you're like, someone pretends to be your mom, and your first impulse is like, sweet murder. Like,
so which one of us is gonna dress up in the wig and get rocks on them? I nominate Kenny. I think he didn't look pretty good in a little wig and.
Yeah, and then the final act of the weekend was for these men to join their masculine and feminine sides together. And to do this, they had a wedding ceremony. And they describe it, one of these wedding ceremonies, said the groom was 35-year-old Clark Belts, a linebacker-sized former construction worker who now owns an Austin fundraising company. As we gathered around, Belts stood before Lee and Alan, his head bowed, his invisible bride at his side. Father, Spirit, said Alan, bless these two lives. He read more poetry, and then Lee said, I now pronounce you man. The men all cheered, banged on their drums, and danced madly around the fire.
I feel like the only way,
victory was sweet. They had become great primitive wild men, restored to conscious manhood. Hell, maybe they didn't need women in this world as much as they thought they did.
Christ.
Now pronounce you.
Christ.
Man.
Yeah.
I think you should.
That might be one of the funniest things I've heard in my entire life.
I think in that moment, like, you should have to have your penis removed. I think if you did all that, like, legally, we were gonna repo your penis and put that on an actual fucking.
Well, you're not a man or a woman after the retreat. You're not anything. you're not. You have given up your right to be a human being.
How would you feel? You get through the whole thing. That's your final graduation ceremony. You come out of this. You feel good? You feel good after that?
Now pronounce you man.
Yeah. You got $600 worth. Do you feel like you're ready to take on the world?
I'd be ready to fill out some legal charges about what happened in the sauna when this guy's rubbing sage in my dick and telling you, like, you got a real savage man.
Can't bring up sage anymore. The
How are you
smell
supposed to
without
find the
PTSD.
savage man within if you got another wild man inside of you already? You have the savage and the wild man in each hole.
I found the savage man in my anus and the wild man in my mouth. Two different.
So, yeah, what can we take from this self-help?
I think it's just
experience.
A dad is so crucial because if they just walk off serial killers, fucking school shooters, this whole thing, this is horrific, right? This is just if a dad just gave his kid a hug and was like, "You play football, okay?"
It's like evil. Like, this is legitimately evil.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole economy.
Is this what that does to people?
What?
This is what that. Also, can we also establish that? What is the? I'm assuming most of these guys. You said it's white middle class men.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of black men who leave their children. You don't see black guys getting together.
Yeah, but
doing this kind of shit.
What's worse, this or murder? If we had to get into no drive-by shootings are happening.
Okay. Murder of the self, murder of.
This is equally. At the end of the day, what would we prefer as a society? Probably a gang. Probably a gang.
Rather the Bloods.
The Bloods are a little less pathetic. Than...
You're saying the white man's wild man is dancing around fire, beating drums.
Yeah, I'm saying that's what happened when they don't have a dad. When a black guy doesn't have a dad, it's just called every day, right? So they don't really have to do anything. Just going to work,
Yeah. So, how are we gonna do this for the week though?
Yeah, I don't, because it's not just advice.
The dad circle?
Would you like to? Yeah, we could just perform some of the activity. Are there saunas around?
Well, how about,
I'm not doing the sauna.
Why not?
We're not doing the sauna. We're not doing the sauna.
We don't gotta rub sage. But if we go to a sauna,
we're not going to a sauna.
Why is that the first thing you want to do?
Yeah, we're not, under no circumstances.
We just sweat it out.
We're not going to sauna. Sweat out your dad.
Why are we not going to?
Whole place just smells like PBR and fucking disappointment.
Why are we not going to a sauna?
Have you even been to a sauna? I think you just want to go to a place where people that have money go. You live in a studio apartment with a broken air conditioner. You are in a sauna. I guess we could just go into your backyard and do the man chant and film it for the cast.
The dad circle.
You live here, man. You okay with your neighbors seeing that? You gotta deal with the consequences.
You might have to drive to like an Area 51 kind of place.
The cops coming.
You gotta deal with like the consequences of what's going on.
We'll just have the cops join us because it'll exercise their daddy issues too. We're actually saving lives if we do that, right?
So, I guess we do that, and then we cannot reenact the person in drag thing because that's just a hate crime. That's it's just a general.
Are you okay with like explaining like when your girlfriend like walks into the backyard and you're chanting with the both of us, "Daddy, are you okay with?"
No. It's for the internet.
It's for the cast, babe. It's all right.
Yeah, no, I think this is the more interesting part of the podcast is Cole losing his relationship in the background. If you actually listen to the audio, you can see re-downloading Tinder.
Well, I'll get her back when we have a How to Love a Black Woman in the future.
That's gonna be a great episode. Don't spoil that episode.
All right. Well, I guess next time we come back, we're gonna post a video of the dad stuff and
now pronounce us man.
Well, we just sat in a circle outside and we screamed, "Dad, Daddy, and Father" for a couple minutes. And how do you guys feel?
Am I allowed to say gay? I feel more than a little.
How do you think your own fathers would
Wait, first we should describe where we did this. We did this in my backyard.
There was a child watching.
There was a child watching.
Yeah, there was a
probably
child.
crying. Probably
There was a kid.
Imagine
There was a child from the balcony who was hiding behind a towel watching us the whole time. And there was someone who passed by, I think, doing their laundry while we were doing this.
Yeah, it was a hipster lady that was like, you know what? I'm not okay with all forms of expression. Actually, now that I think about it, some things are wrong and evil, and I'd like that non. So you did it in your own backyard, ruined your reputation upon the
Own backyard.
We sat in a circle holding hands.
Yeah, 3 men holding hands, looking up to the sky, yelling "Daddy!" Various forms of "Daddy," from father, dad to daddy.
What do you
Papa.
think they thought we were doing? Like, if
one
you just
Papa.
saw a person doing that in the park, like, what would you even construe them as doing? Do they think like we're doing like a rain dance to bring our father back? Like we just sacrifice, we pour PBR in the middle and try to yell "Dad" until he
So I was
appears.
like, I guess I didn't know they had like another Pride weekend. But I guess these guys are really getting out there.
Cole, do you think if your father would have seen that moment, he would have been like, "I made the right call on that one"? And
Yeah. My father,
he's like,
my father and my stepfather were like holding hands and like, yeah, we did.
yeah.
We both made the right choice.
He's like, oh Christ. He was like, here I am thinking I'm the deadbeat. Apparently I'm the hero of the story. Christ.
You guys don't feel any kind of inner peace, inner.
I was probably a little too self-conscious doing it to really.
I kind of felt myself getting a little lost in the dad thing. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like if I found a new dad, my original dad would be happy for me.
Jeez.
Okay.
I felt.
How'd you feel?
I felt pretty stupid.
Stupid.
Felt like
Can you
an
imagine
idiot.
paying? Now, let's put this in the backdrop of you went to your wife. You are like, we're taking some time off work, and you're like, what are you doing this weekend? We just go park a weekend with the buddies, you know? You set some money aside in an account. You pay $800, and you're sitting in a field screaming and doing that. This level of stupid you feel is just going to be expounded by.
What do you think the money? Maybe there's another thing. Maybe you get something out of it because you're putting so much money into it. So when you spend like $800 or something, then you have the pressure to be like, oh yeah, I got something out of it, and then maybe that helps you.
Yeah, I think that's true across the board. Like,
Yeah.
if I spend a lot of money on food, I'm like, you know what, this Big Mac
if
is the best thing that I've ever had. in
if
my
someone
life.
paid $800 to see me do comedy live, that would probably be a pretty good show, right?
No.
Dude, no.
No,
You're on stage and be an awful show.
They're like, okay, so when's the real comedian coming out? This guy's testing out the microphone for
You don't
45
think
minutes.
they'd enjoy themselves if they paid $800?
No, I think if you paid $800, you actually have to almost die. Like, you have to be carried out in a stretch. Like, they laugh so hard that they died. I think if someone paid, like, if it was like $4 going on 5, it'd be like,
Especially with
it'd be
Cole,
like even.
$800. The first 45 seconds is pausing. You're spending,
how much
spending $15 on nothing.
It's also basically me saying "daddy" on stage too.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Seeing my
in a way,
comedy.
a lot of our stand-up is just saying "dad" through various terms.
Yeah, this is just the minimal, simplified form of our stand-up.
Just cutting out the middleman.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be some like snarky comment. Let's just scream "dad." Honestly, if I did that every weekend, I probably wouldn't need to go to dive bars ever again and try to scream at patrons about hookah bars or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, it did
There
nothing.
was a part. I think there was a part of me that
Yeah, you got into it at
Yeah.
the end. You were.
You were actually into it?
No, it was kind of just dramatically.
You didn't feel
overplayed.
something?
I mean, I'm sure I felt more than I ever got from my dad.
Oh,
But in terms of therapy, what's wrong with like just drinking and forgetting about it? I think that like
that's
a
not
standard
healthy.
that's a
That's
standard
not how
process.
humans deal with things
Yeah,
in 2018.
I don't know.
I think it's better than being a SoundCloud rapper or something like that. In terms of things you had to do because your dad left, it's like SoundCloud rapper, gangster. Like if you just scream "daddy" in a field.
We could
not
turn
bad.
our daddies into a beat, like for a SoundCloud rapper with that.
Daddy. That'd be like the most honest SoundCloud rapper that has ever happened. It's just a beat that says "Dad, Dad, Daddy. Where are you? Where are you?" He's going just
Huge trap drums in the background.
The rapper's crying.
Oh man.
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like those guys, like you're saying, those guys got it right.
What? The screaming out in the field?
Yeah.
I think dads are
You said
overrated.
that's
I don't
better
really
than doing other stuff than doing.
Yeah, maybe that's true. I think if you're going to be affected by not having a dad, and the worst you do is go to a field and scream with a couple of your friends, that's better than.
So, do you guys feel like the wild man within you has come out?
Something's come out, but I don't know if it's a wild
Probably
man.
just the shame of your name. You moving out of this apartment is the thing that's coming.
Yeah, I'm
neighbors.
coming out.
We got a wild man out of it.
Yeah, it's Cole Nolden being homeless because the homeowners association saw what happened. I hope you don't you're gonna pass her in the hallway again and be like, wait, are you okay? Like, what do they think too? Because it's you got Kwame and then me, so it's you with two slightly younger men holding hands and screaming "Daddy."
Yeah.
Do they think that you're like a cult figure?
Slightly younger, but you guys also look a lot younger. I could look like a cult leader too.
You could, yeah, because you could be 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like a big brother with two weird disenfranchised minority children.
I told someone he was 38 the other day, and they believed me.
Yeah, 100%. You got a real.
Were they white?
Wait, the guy I told him you're 38 years old, and he was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
No, because you got a real. That forehead has seen some things.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hairline. It
plus
looks like your hairs are retreating back. It's lost
all
in battle.
the scars that's gone on in your life.
Napoleon needs to go back and regroup
Lost
the
3
army.
inches when Deborah left you back in '98. Lost another 2 when your son stopped talking to you.
It's like leaving the ship.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess overall opinion, that was good or bad for you?
I think all the self-help that we've read recently, Deepak Chopra's
Deepak's helped me.
He's helped you?
It hasn't since then, but that week I was I was at work and my boss pissed me off, and I was like, I'm just gonna
He told me he showed up an hour and 45 minutes late to work one day.
Yeah.
Do you I mean, it's
and he's not fired.
The your existence is based on one fast food place taking a chance on you. Do you understand?
Well, how did you not get
if
fired?
You get your resume.
I don't know. I know that you're living on a lower dimension, but I consider myself the wizard that Deepak does, and time does not exist as a construct. 45 minutes, 2 days. I showed up 4 years ago.
We went over that when you weren't here for the podcast because time was not a construct for you.
I was busy with non-cast work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think of all the things you could do, but I also think fundamentally, I think here's what the retreat should have done, is they're doing that, they're screaming dad, and then the people who run it invite their actual dads to come and just beat the shit out of them. and I think that would actually really heal whatever issues you have.
Yeah. They also tell the dads they spent $600 on this.
They're like, what is wrong with you? And you're like, you never hugged me or told me I was good at baseball. And they're like, yeah, because you suck. And then beat them up. Because your dad's just an older version of you.
I remember that happened to me. Something like that happened when I came home in 5th grade, and I'd stopped being friends with my friends. My dad was like, why? And I was like, because they said I was bad at basketball. And he was like, you are bad at basketball.
That's what a dad is. Because a mom's very
right.
loving and caring, and dad's very direct sniper.
Yeah.
They
bring the dads to the Wildman Weekends, and they're throwing stones at
their kids.
At the lady, and they're like, no, that's why you never got far in baseball. You can, and then they pick up the
knock her out. They chuck her down.
Yeah,
That's one of mine shunning her. Give me a tan of that, Junior. Knocks her out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I really think. I mean, it's just also how much of this is man-made problems with your dad. Because I think if you had to talk to your dad about it, he's like, what are you talking
I looked this up, and these weekends are still going on. We could pay $600 to go.
Where are they at?
The inside.
Are there multiple retreats in different places, or is it one retreat?
Yeah, multiple retreats in different places.
I talked to my dad earlier today. I kind of would wonder what would happen if I was like, yeah, later I'm gonna scream your name to field. So maybe that should make you feel bad about. Tell me, I suck at checkers.
You should send him the audio. Just no context. Just send him the audio.
He's like, all right, I'm sorry I ever tried to talk to you.
All right, I think that's probably a good recap.
Yeah, Jesus. So, all in all, if we had to rate wild man advice in your life and helping you deal with your dad, I still think booze and anything else is probably
I think
I think we all have issues with our fathers, and none of those issues have been resolved.
Yeah, no. You don't have issues with your dad?
Oh yeah, you have issues with your mom, right?
I don't have issues with my mom either.
You're testifying against her in court.
We are editing that shit. That's actually getting edited. We're not getting that. We're not getting. That's not staying in the fucking podcast. That's
why not?
That's not, because that's not staying. That's an actual thing. That's not staying in there.
What do you mean?
So, you know,
That's like an actual legal thing. That's
it's really going to make people think that there's no issues with your parents and that you're like, don't you have issues with your parents? And then there's a long cutout part. And it's like, so anyway, our next book we're reading here is...
That's an actual legal thing.
It was pretty funny though. So.
That was pretty solid.
I can't have it. I gotta like fucking do a thing.
See, because I think that's just a testament of the like. Of course, you have issues with your dad, but you're following what every man does, which is no, everything's fine. And you just crush it in, and then when you have a son, he's gonna like leave his toothbrush out, and you're like, I wish I never had you. And you're just gonna project your pain onto him, and it's gonna be a long cycle until one pathetic kid buys an airplane ticket to go to Nevada to scream "Daddy" and. For a whole weekend. Just follow tradition. You have your own son. You're emotionally distant towards him. It's his own thing.
Why can't we mention that you might testify against your mom?
Because that's an actual like legal thing I have to do. Or I don't have to.
So?
But I might. I don't know.
There's nothing.
Like affection.
It's not.
I don't know.
Do you think it would have helped you if you yelled "mommy" instead out there? Do you think that really would have?
I don't have issues with my mother.
You don't have issues.
You really
with
think
your
the judge is gonna pull up? You're gonna
My
testify,
siblings have I don't have any issues.
and they're gonna
mom?
throw
Well,
the.
according to the SoundCloud podcaster we got here, it came up sounds pretty harsh and also pretty funny and probably should rate 5 stars on iTunes. We're being honest here, ladies and gentlemen. What if the lawyer just starts plugging that? Can you go to court just to plug the podcast? Can you just listen? I discussed it at length in my hilarious.
Since we're talking about violence, you know what's gonna make you violently laugh? If you go ahead and listen to this podcast.
Oh man, she might not be fit to raise kids. This podcast is fit for everyone. It's just whether it's a commute, whether it's a found time. It's available on SoundCloud podcast.
Yeah, she did crash the car when I was in 5th grade. Probably from listening to something hilarious, like the new podcast.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a dude. I mean, look at the crowd. Probably like 40, 50 people. I mean, like we can put out Facebook ads, but we can also. I'm gonna commit a crime just so I have to testify and plug the podcast. And where were you that night when you robbed the 7-Eleven? I'm like, well, I was at home listening to the new hilarious Drag Me to Hell podcast, wondering how anything could be so funny when I heard gunshots over the sign. And I was like, oh no.